In this section, we will be looking at the features, or sometimes described as the feature flippers, that will enable an administrator on a tenant by tenant basis to turn on or off or customize certain aspects of things that display in their tenant or how their tenant behaves. In order to access those, go to the administrative dashboard, which you can do through the link at the top right of the screen, and browse down to configuration, settings, and then features. And that will take you to this list of features that you can, as you see, you can flip on or off. So each one has sort of its official name, tag to tell you whether it's currently enabled or disabled, and a short description of what that feature does. So you can, and I'll just go run down these one by one. Proxy deposit is a setting that I believe is on by default, and that allows anyone who has depositor permission to designate proxies to deposit on their behalf. They can do that under this Your Activity, Manage Proxies, and you can authorize someone to deposit on your behalf. And then the list of whoever users who currently have that permission, which will appear, and you can delete them, re-add them just like that. You can turn off that ability universally in your tenant by toggling this to off. Similarly, transfer works allows depositors to transfer their works to another user. By default in the system, when you upload a work, or when, for example, a student worker uploads a work, they are assigned in the system as the owner of that work, even though the administrator has full ability to then go in and assign to collections, delete that work, etc., regardless of ownership status. A place where that reflects is if you go to the works section of the dashboard. And I can tell that I am sharing my screen because my internet is suffering, but just a moment. But you'll see tabs for your works. And then, yeah, so these are works that are considered to be mine by the system. I can choose to transfer that to be someone else's work. And then you can toggle over and see all works in that tab. And so what the feature and it does is allow you to universally disable the ability for users to transfer ownership of their works to others. So administrative sets for this third feature to assign admin sets. Administrative sets determine rules for how works are uploaded or how they function. So for example, you could have one admin set that has mediated deposit on and assign specific users, for instance, faculty, to that, so that their works would have to be approved by, for instance, a librarian or whoever the administrator for the tenant is, and then have another admin set that is direct deposit that the admin uses for their own uploading and things that do not need to be approved. And that option, when you are uploading a work, shows up in the relationships section of the upload work dashboard. And turning this off will disable the ability of users to upload to anything but the default admin set, even if they ordinarily would have other permissions. So it in some ways simplifies the upload process for non-admin users if you turn that off. The next two, show deposit agreement and active deposit agreement acceptance, in some ways are bundled together. The deposit agreement shows up in the upload work or add new work dashboard here. Again, my controls are. So this is an illustrative example because currently what I have set is the deposit agreement shows. So a user can see that by saving, they're agreeing to the deposit agreement. And if they click on it, it'll take them out to the deposit agreement for this tenant. But they're not required to click I'll just turn this on, require active acceptance on. So if I refresh this, then now I have to affirm that I have read and agree to it before I can save. Also, that requirement will show up under this list of requirements. Now, if I turn off show deposit agreement, regardless of the fact that this require active acceptance feature is enabled, the deposit agreement won't even show up in the deposit and will not be listed in the requirements. And so this, the fact that I'm not showing it overrides the active requirement. So you have essentially three states that you can create: one where it's shown and required, one where it's shown, and one where it is not shown or required. Those are the three active states that you can create through these two features. The next feature is for batch upload. I believe that by default, this feature is enabled. And what that does is on the work dashboard, you will see two buttons. I'll go ahead and enable it for illustration. This is I'm just waiting for this to load. But take this opportunity to say that in colloquial speech or in conversation, we sometimes use batch upload or bulk upload interchangeably. Hyku defines them very differently. So you can see this add new work button. Once this, timed out because my internet is, okay. So when that's enabled, there will be a button, an additional button that says create batch of works. What this does is you select a single work type and you're actually adding multiple files to one work. It's not creating multiple works. And so my recommendation is, and that's something that you can do anyway, even if you just do the add new work, you can select multiple files and assign them to that one work. So it's not it's not required to have the batch of work setting to do that. And it's, I think, misleading to users. So I recommend always having the enable uploading of batches of works off and never turning it on again is my recommendation. Because all it does is disable this create batch of works button, which is misleading and simply recreate something that you're able to do through the default system anyway. The analytics redesign feature currently does not do anything because the analytics are not populating. Happily, this is this is currently undergoing work in the community, and we will, I believe, pretty shortly have active reporting and analytics within within the system. Right now, there's just nothing there, and so the feature does nothing. Hide private items. By default, a user can upload a work and set it to private. And when an admin can see other users' private works, admins can see all works that are within the system and edit those works. If you turn off, or no, if you turn on hide private items, then those files will not populate when you as an admin are doing searches in the system. And it actually, it looks a little bit wonky. I recommend keeping this setting off. Private items will never appear to a non-logged in user. That's what the private setting does. And other than admins, users cannot see other users' private items unless they're specifically shared with them. And that's all true with this setting to off. I don't think that hiding private items enhances the experience of the system. I recommend keeping the hide users list option enabled. There is a users list that exists in the system. And if this setting is off, then a public user, I don't think that there's links to it anywhere, but if they have the web address, they can navigate to the page of the users list. And there's just no reason that a user who's not logged in should be able to access that. Using the Rails to cache your IIIF viewer, it improves loading speed for recently viewed images. So you see I toggle between these. It doesn't need to render because it's being cached by the system. So I recommend keeping that on at all times. And then these last four, these are all ones that we've created since we've started working within the system. And these allow you to toggle on or off the featured researcher tab on the homepage, the share your work button on the homepage, the featured works tab on the homepage, and the recently uploaded tab. And so that'll look slightly different based on which theme you have enabled, but those are all configurable to be turned on or off. And I just want to note that if you're using the default theme, if you toggle off the featured researcher tab or the recently uploaded tab, that has implications for now. So I've turned off recently uploaded. And so normally this functions as a toggle between these two facets. This would also do that, but because I've turned off recently uploaded, this just looks to the user like a button. And so I'm furiously clicking, nothing's happening. I think the system's broken. So that's something to be aware of in disabling those features if you're using the default theme. The rest of the themes do not have this toggle system, and so that's not a concern. So those are the feature flippers. If anyone has questions, we can talk about it now.
Hi, this is Sherry again. So this is sort of where we could ask for a flipper, for example, for that collections button type thing. Right, okay. And because I also, my work type was not assigned, or resource type was not assigned to my work, so it didn't show up in my on my homepage, but now it does. But now it looks sort of strange having just one work there. I don't know if that's something else, another feature that could be disabled I guess is the statistics of the number of work types on an IR theme.
Possibly, yes. And I think it's kind of on a case-by-case basis of which facets of the homepage are simple and modular enough that simply flipping them off removes them, but does not in some way fundamentally change the other aspects of the theme, or if other aspects rely on them. But possibly yes. And so we, as we consider user feedback, including for, it sounds like you have a use case where you want to use the IR theme, but minus one or two aspects, then adding more items to the feature flippers to give users more direct ability to customize their tenant, I think is an attractive way to add those customization options. And that's something that our developer has been pretty keen to, if there's a thing that we say, we want people to be able to use this or turn it off, feature flippers seems to be a preferred way to enable that tenant by tenant customization. So yeah.
And then how do we record these wishes for this project? Is there a special place on Basecamp to put these things on to keep track of these?
Maybe Amanda can chime in too, but I would say that the message board of the Basecamp keeps kind of a permanent paper trail, and then we do take those both to our UX consultant and then back to our developer. So that's where I would recommend putting that kind of hey, can we add a feature flipper for this? Just post a new message on the message board.
Well, we did add, I definitely think starting the conversation on the message board is a good idea. We also added the enhancement request separate board. And that might be, once we've had a chance to kind of talk through it, adding it to the enhancement request board is a really good place to record all sort of like, I wish this would work differently, and make sure we don't lose track of those ideas.
And I would encourage people not to be shy about putting that out there, because the more information we have about, especially specifics, I want this very specific thing, and then maybe other users say that's the last thing I would want, or the more feedback we can get on that, the more we can bring Hyku in line with what people actually want it to do or need it to do. So I don't think there's any worry about overdoing it. Just let us know everything if you have the time and the opinion.
Okay, this is being recorded, correct? Thank you, Nick. This is Sherry. I have opinions. Thank you.
Well, does anyone have any other questions about features before we close out this recording? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop that.